Hey, and welcome back to the Elevate Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Goldie, and on this show, it's all about the wedding industry in 2019 and beyond. And to get ready for this episode, I had discussions with over 200 wedding industry pros of all types. This includes photographers, planners, filmmakers, hair and makeup artists, day of coordinators, wedding venue owners, and so many other talented people. And what I found across the board was that there's a common feeling, and that is that people are feeling the pinch of the market becoming more and more saturated every single day. And you know what? They're not wrong. Listen in here to hear why I think that they're right, what could be improved on, and what to do to stay ahead of the curve. Hey everyone, welcome to the Elevate Podcast with me, your host, Kyle Goldie. I'm a husband, traveler, photographer, and successful small business owner, and each week I'll be sharing authentic, actionable advice or incredible, inspirational interviews to help improve the way you run your life. So join us, take notes, and most importantly, take action. Let's get straight into it. This episode right here is brought to you by me in my wedding business course entitled Book More Weddings. And if you're wanting to take your wedding business to the next level, make more money, and learn how to do all of that while you work fewer hours per week, make sure to check out the full details of my online program, the 100 and more lessons that are included within it, and the real-world case studies and testimonials from those who have enrolled. Just visit weddings.kylegoldie.com. Again, that website is weddings.kylegoldie.com, and you're going to learn more about the Book More Weddings program right there. So, as we all know, the wedding industry is essentially like living on a roller coaster that just never ends. This goes for the people just entering the market as well as those already earning six figures and everyone in between. And I say that with confidence because I have personally felt that entire ride and continue to do so myself. So I took it upon myself to have 200 discussions with wedding pros around the world to see what they are really experiencing in the 2019 wedding market. And as with every industry, you must either keep up with the industry trends, industry outlook, and ever-changing client demands, or your business falls by the wayside and eventually just goes out of business. It's a harsh reality, but it's a true one that nobody likes to really talk about inside of the wedding industry. And more than ever, I have been seeing discussions happen within Facebook groups, at networking events, and behind closed doors because the industry as a collective is mostly embarrassed to admit that they are not booking as many jobs as they once were. And yes, this does not apply to literally every person out there. But after having 200 discussions with wedding pros from around the world, the vast majority feel this way, and they feel this way behind those closed doors. They feel ashamed to talk about these sorts of things in a public manner. So here's what I found after having many, many hours of raw and real chats with photographers, planners, florists, wedding venue owners, caterers, filmmakers, and just about everybody else. So I'm going to cut straight to the chase with what I found. Most wedding pros are not receiving as many quality leads as they have in previous years. Most wedding pros are not booking as many 2019 brides as they have in previous years. Most wedding pros are not also making as much money as they'd like, realistically speaking, which goes without saying, knowing those first two things. Nearly everybody is also seeing brides are booking their wedding vendors closer to their wedding day, and they're seeing more and more undercutting from other industry vendors, which creates a race to the bottom if that practice keeps up. That said, it's really important to note that this isn't happening across the board, meaning everybody's not undercutting, but there is a lot of undercutting going on inside of the industry, and it needs to stop. So, why could some of these things be happening in the 2019 wedding market? The wedding market is actually more saturated than it used to be. Yes, it is actually more saturated than it used to be. It's true. Those fears that a lot of wedding industry pros, and maybe you're having these sorts of fears yourself, these fears are totally valid. And I totally get it. I see it here in the Seattle market where I'm currently based, and I see it in literally every single market where all of my students are. Every single day, there's appearing to be a new wedding vendor that pops on the market. The market is more saturated because it's simply a super, super, super low barrier to entry. Getting into the wedding business is simply easy. It's one of the easiest businesses to start in reality. All you need is a business license, a bit of investment into equipment, and a website. And please notice that I did not mention good equipment or a good website. Then all they have to do is start up an Instagram account, and presto, a wedding vendor is born. And depending on the quality of their branding, marketing message, and copywriting, that vendor might even look like they've been in business for years. Most wedding pros have relied heavily on word-of-mouth marketing, referrals, preferred vendors lists, and relationships to fill their calendar over the past few years. And as you might have read on a previous blog post I've done about why you should not be relying on referrals, it's not something that I recommend that you focus on. Yes, it should be a part of your overall strategy, but it should not be the entirety of your marketing plan because it's very short-lived relying on referrals and word of mouth. Most wedding pros, based on the 200 people that I've chatted with, are not actively using their time wisely. But don't worry, this might not be you that I'm talking about, but it is the majority of people who I spoke with after having super honest discussions with them. Most people are watching Netflix while working in front of their computer, getting distracted from friends inviting them places during business hours, allowing disruptions one way or the other, and just purely losing focus. They're spending too much time on Facebook doing trial and error marketing, and too much time scrolling on Instagram and aimlessly posting on Facebook, hoping for answers with lackluster results. Some of these people have the right information and right knowledge, though, and quite a few people I spoke with have attended large conferences, intimate workshops, or have taken online courses. But a large portion of those same people have not actually implemented everything that they have learned and the details that are right there sitting in front of them. And even more have implemented these things, but only for a short period of time. And then they just get back to their old habits and their comfort zones. So with all of this information, how can it be used to stay ahead of the curve? One, you just need to focus more. It's the number one problem I've seen across these couple hundred chats that I've had, and time management is a huge issue, as is mindset. So if you're looking to learn more about time management, make sure to check out the podcast episode I did with Natalie Frank from the Rising Tide Society. And if you're looking to learn more about mindset, you can either check out my blog post on my website right at kylegoldie.com/blog about having a growth mindset, or you can simply pick up the book that I really highly recommend. It's simply called Mindset by the author Carol Dweck. You can just pick it up on Amazon, I think, for around $10. 2, I want you to be more proactive with your marketing. Don't just wait for leads to land in your inbox or for them to give you a call. Get out there, run some targeted ads, really build out your SEO, have more discussions, do some cold outreach, and work on converting that cold audience that have never heard of you before into your warm audience through nurturing them over time. You can do that through a blog, a podcast, your Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, email marketing, open houses, workshops, or just whatever it is that you do to put out free, valuable content that resonates with your ideal customers. Always, always, always be leading with valuable content. Now, let's say that you're having a creative block, because it happens to all of us. Let's say that you have no idea about what type of content to put out into the world. All that you need to do to solve this problem is to put yourself in their shoes. What's your ideal client or what's your ideal customer searching for? What kind of problems do they have that you can solve? What questions do they have that you can answer? Solve that for them. Think about the basics. And 3, take more action. This one is the simplest of all, yet at the same time, it's the most difficult. Creative entrepreneurs across the board have 1,000 different ideas all the time, and I certainly can say that I do as well. Some are incredible ideas and some are not so incredible, but a lot of those ideas stay as ideas, and they then get distracted from taking ultimate action. And I totally get it, because I get distracted as well. We're all human, but the best advice I have ever received is that done is always better than perfect. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single day of the week. So if you're looking to stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead of the saturated market, you don't need to be the smartest person in the industry. You don't even need to be the most talented person. You just need to be taking more action. And there's a lot of things to potentially take action on. So now you might be wondering what you should be taking action on. And I'm here to say that there's no black and white answer. I wish that there was. If there was a black and white answer where I could just say, hey, do this, then that, and you're going to have success, I'd be a multi-millionaire in multiple industries. That said, there is no black and white answer because every business is different. Every goals that every single person have are different. Every market is different. Every region is different. So there's some framework to follow, but I can't just give black and white answers. What you need to do is be taking a hard look at everything you're doing in business to see what can be improved on. And this is going to look different for everybody. Some people might need to update their website. Other people might need to update their marketing message, copywriting, their social media content. They might need to be blogging more often and to be blogging with intention. They might need to be creating better lead magnets. They might need to improve their SEO. They might need to improve their online ads, or just really any other sort of thing that's happening within the business. In short, determine what's leaking inside of your lead and client funnel and plug that hole. If you can't figure that out and where it's leaking yourself, just hire a coach, buy a course, get peer feedback, and just get outside eyes on what you're doing. Because it's a lot easier to see what's going on when you're outside of the fishbowl. So as a quick recap, after having 200 discussions with wedding pros of all types from around the world, most are seeing and feeling that shift in the market. They're feeling that it's becoming more saturated, and they're right. But living in a market that's saturated is totally okay, and you can still definitely thrive in it. You just have to plug those holes in your leaky funnel, and you have to take more action than the next person that's your so-called competitor in your marketplace. And I hope that you found all this information super helpful, and I hope it gave you some clarity that you're not alone in your feelings on the shift in the market. Just know that as long as you're aware of it, you're totally okay. Just keep taking action inside of your business to stay ahead of it. And that's why I created my signature online course, Book More Weddings, for those who are interested in taking their wedding business to the next level. If that sounds like what you're wanting, check it out at weddings.kylegoldie.com. And as always, please feel free to reach out to me with all your questions because I truly am here to help. So until the next episode of the Elevate podcast, I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. This episode of the Elevate podcast with me, Kyle Goldie, has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more actionable tips, tricks, and strategies to help you crush your goals and elevate your life. Don't forget to rate and review so that I can continue to help bring you the absolute best content and help you set yourself up to win. I'm going to see you on the next episode of the Elevate podcast.